Today on the workbench I have a Scale Trains ES44AC, and of course you can see this one's in the southern scheme. I've got this up in my cradle. We'll leave that in there. So what I'm doing to this is I have a Scale Sound Systems speaker for this, just turned around here, and we are going to be putting this in this locomotive today, and basically that's all we're going to be doing to it. Now I did get this without the decoder, but I've had a ESU decoder laying around and I just wanted to use it up, so I bought this without the decoder. And you know, it won't be any big deal to program that up. But to start on this, all we have to do is, to get the body off, is we'll pull our, we'll pull these screws out of the coupler box and just remove, if I can, yep. It's always got to be something difficult. And so I've got it out of there. There. So now we'll go on to this other side. And these are, I've done some of these before. They're not bad, but they do seem rather delicate to me. And there's a lot of detail on these things. They're good locomotives. Can't complain about that. But anyway, so we've got those two screws out. Now we should just be able to pull this right up. And I'm just looking to make sure that there's no wires hanging down, no miscellaneous whatever. So I've got the back here. Come off of there. There we go. So, luckily there wasn't anything the way that popped off. But I wasn't even applying a lot of pressure to it at that point. So, anyway, I'm going to slide that cradle back. And you'll see it's got the plug in it. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that because I don't need it. Now, like I say, I do have a decoder for this. Well, there we go. We'll get that out of the way. Now I have taken these before and switched out the whole board and put in a Soundtrax decoder, but I'm not going to do that to this one. We're just going to let this one go as an ESU. I'm just checking out the body here for right now. Now, the thing we have to do here is we have to separate this upper frame from the lower frame here, and there's a few screws in there Get our Phillips screwdriver back out here. Set that off. I know there's more than one screw in that thing. Let's see. Right here it is. Right up here on the front. Looks like there's just one on each side. So we'll set that off. Okay. Now that will separate. So the thing about this is now you have to be really careful because of all of the, we've got our ground lights, they're all right there on the side, and they're, you know, down taped on, the wiring's taped on top of that. We got the wiring up here for the headlights taped on. Wiring for the back is all taped on. So we have to separate this thing gingerly. Motor wires, motor wire. So I need to be able to move. I'd like to be able to take these ditch lights out, or ground lights off. I was hoping that would slide out, but it doesn't. See, I've got walkway lights, because that speaker goes back in here. So let me set this down, and I'm going to start working out a way to get this apart, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what I've got. Okay, so I'm back, and it looks like, and I've kind of started this already, so I've removed the two screws out of the factory board here. I'm going to pop off, I actually took this, there's a little plastic piece here that goes in there. I popped that off, just pried it up. There's another one back here. It's just for this wiring. Just going to pop that up, and then I'm going to pull this off. This is a weight, so there's two screws in that, but I already had one of them out. So we can set that off to the side. We'll pull that lighting board up. We'll pull that lighting board up. That'll let us start to move things around here. The other thing we're going to do is pull this board off of the rear back here, this lighting board. There's a small screw that holds that on. That little screw. So this is the screwdriver that I use for the small screws. This is what I use for the majority of the work. I love these WIA screwdrivers. So there we can pull that board up. We've got that out of the way. These are wires for the pickup, so I can't really do anything with that. So right now I'm gonna see if I can't pull that out of there. Yep. That's not going to do anything for me. I can't get these ground lights out, so I still need to figure out some way around that. But right there you can see that I've got this thing kind of separated, and stuff hanging everywhere. So there's a light for the walkway light. Let me get that tape off. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this front board off. So there's that. And I don't think I can still pull I cannot pull that out. So if it wasn't for that light right there, this thing would lay right over. Well, I can get to it just like that. Okay. So I just kind of rolled the locomotive over. But here's what we're after. We'll pull these 4 screws out. And all of their locomotive, or all of these GEs, I believe, are similar. So I've got a Union Pacific video out there where I think that's the one I changed the decoder and put a Soundtracks decoder in with a decoder buddy. So we've got that. I'll lay that down there. And here's a comparison. You know, that's really what we're doing. So you could put 2 speakers in this if you wanted to. Anyway, turn my soldering iron on here because I need to solder some wires onto that. So I'm going to go ahead and solder the wires onto the speaker, get them run up through, and that way I can get this back together. But I'll be back. Okay, so I've got the wires soldered onto our speaker there, and if you can see, well, you know, I know you can't, there's a square hole right down there in the corner that you can run these wires through. So there we go. Some of this stuff out of the way. We'll run them up front, or toward the front. And that just sits right down in there like that. And then we'll just start putting, we'll just basically start the reassembly process. So yeah, for 5 minutes worth of work, but it does make a difference in the sound. Get in there. Now the other thing you could do, if you wanted to, is, so basically I've just set that on there and make sure all my wires are where they're supposed to be. Okay, so everything is where it's supposed to be. Now I just got to start putting everything back. But the other thing you could do if you wanted to put a second speaker in here is you could pull this rear weight out and you could put it right here. And I think I've done that before, but I don't remember. I've done so many or so many other locomotives that I don't remember what I do from time to time. So you could do that, or if you know, this board comes with built-in capacitors, so you can see them right there. You could take this weight out if you put a Soundtrax decoder in here, and you could use this spot for a keep alive, so that wouldn't be a bad idea. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting this back together. And one screw there, and we just got to kind of make sure that we've got everything, you know, located where it needs to be. I'll have to put that in there. But let's get this other screw right here on this side. And then we'll move up front, put this lighting board back where it needs to be, grab our screwdriver and our tiny little screw, and I forget where the hole is. Goes on this side. Make sure all of our wires are tucked back in. That screw in there. More wires tucked in to place. And I've still got my original piece of tape here. So we'll get that back in. Get that back in. Now we'll keep on going here. We'll fasten our decoder down. Now the whole time I've been working on this, I have been loading the sound file right off of the Scale Trains website under their if you go to the locomotive, it'll have product support. And you can just look at that and it'll give you the sound file to download. So there's that. I'll put that piece of tape back down that they had on there. I'll put this back on. Okay. Get that weight back on. Turn this around. It's the wires for the speaker that I'll have to hook up. Get in there. They have like a little hook there on that to hold the wires in. I'll show you that here in a second. Let me get this screw in. And all of their lighting is controlled off of this little PCB board down here. But what I'm talking about with this little hook, as you can see, well, maybe not, it won't focus. There's a hook right there that holds the wires in. So that just goes there. Okay. So that's all of that. Put this on. Yeah. Didn't have that one quite in the right place. There we go. So let me pull this one back up. And that way I can run those speaker wires that way. Alright, now we're up here to where we can hook our speakers up, and It's underneath. All of this, I believe, yeah. So there's two pads right here. Let me zoom in. There are two pads right here. And let's see. Let me pull this off for a minute because I've got that gray wire was in there tighter than I'd like it to be. So let's get some of this stuff out of the way. Like track pickup wires and lights. So I'm going to cut these off. I'll cut them off just a touch long. And this is 36 gauge ESU wire. So we'll get that stripped. And then we'll put some flux on that board. And I'll flux these wires. So if you hear something buzzing in the background, that is my air conditioner. It's about 85 degrees outside. We had a nice thunderstorm. So there's that. Let me clean that up a little bit. That. Now all we got to do is, and it doesn't matter the positive and negative on this. Okay. There we are. We're all hooked back together. Now all I got to do is put the decoder on it, put the locomotive back together, and this thing will be ready to go. So I'll be back here in a minute. Okay. So I've got everything installed. I got the decoder installed with the the sound file. Everything works. All the lights work. Now all we got to do is put the shell back on, and we're ready to go. Maybe a little bit of tweaking on the program, but yeah, other than that, this thing slid right back together. No big deal. I think I will upgrade these couplers. I'm going to put some KD couplers in it. So I'll go ahead and do that off camera, and then when you see it again, it'll be up on the turntable and it'll be ready to go. Alright, we've got this up on the turntable here, and we've got it completed. Let's go ahead, we'll start it up here and go through the startup sequence. So there, we've got it fired up. We'll go ahead and turn on some of our functions. There's our headlight. Of course, we've got our number boards, and I've got the walkway lights and the ground lights all connected to the number boards. And then we've got our ditch lights, and they do alternate. Of course, you could hear the bell there and the horn. And then, of course, that's just miscellaneous sounds that, kick on with that program. Now, the way I did that, I didn't use the scale sound systems, or I didn't use the scale trains program. I went to the ESU website and downloaded the ES44 program from them. It was updated, I think, just this month, or May of 24. So it's got the latest sound in it. It's actually recorded from an ES44AC. So yeah, I think this came out pretty well. I'm going to engage the drive hold, and then I'll ramp this up a little bit. Of course, I need to go in and adjust some of the volumes. So you can hear that ramping up. Now I'll take it back down to an idle. Then I'll release the drive hold there. And this is speed step 1. Get it to move off camera. It does have a lot of momentum built into it. So yeah, I think this came out pretty well, and I really like this locomotive. I looked at the when I bought this back in 22, so I hadn't even unpackaged a thing. But yeah. Anyway, really like this, and I'll have to get it on the club layout at some point, and we'll pull some stuff with it. So thanks for watching.